My name is Joe Martin, and I want to talk to you guys about this thing. I'm pretty sure one website changed my entire career path. I think one website actually got me to where I am. And today I'm an author, speaker, and designer. And when we're done with this, I just want you guys to leave with just one idea. And I'm hoping there's one thing that I messed up on big enough. You're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's the hope. That's the hope. I mean, one thing is going to save you years. And to tell the story, we actually gotta go back a little bit. And we gotta go back in time to this kid. 13-year-old braced Joe. Because something happens here that then ends up changing the rest of my life. And it was shortly after this photo was taken. I just went on a random Sunday afternoon with my father to a place called Service Merchandise, which is like an old department store. And he bought me a guitar. And that changed everything. I loved playing guitar. And 4 years later, I put together my own band, and I started playing. And this was the spot where I had my first dream. And my dream, it wasn't a dream, it's what I knew. I knew I was going to be a rock star. I wanted to play Warped Tour, I wanted to go play South by Southwest, I wanted to open for bands at Summerfest and be one of those bands at Summerfest, and all that sounded cool. So I built my band. That was my hobby, that was the passion. And I think the same way a lot of entrepreneurs jump into working on a business, I don't think I realized at the time that that was my first business. That everything with a band is HR, it's touring and setting up logistics, it's marketing to promote a show, it's inventory on shirts and stickers. That it was all a business, I just didn't realize it because it was just what I loved doing. And so while I was doing that, I worked for the Village of Schiller Park. And the fun thing about this is I got a nice orange shirt, and every morning at 7 a.m. for a half hour I got to go out by myself and pick up trash. Let's just show you what this looks like. Half hour every morning, and just knowing, but it was okay because I was going to be a rock star. So like, these are the trials we go through. And I think especially for entrepreneurs, we look at it as, oh, this is the work we put in. We put this in now, we get the reward later. I was also going to college at the time. It took 3 years to get my 2-year degree, thank you. And the band kept doing well. We ended up touring across the US. We got to play some larger venues. We continued to build an audience. And for that, this was at the time of mp3.com. This was at the time of Napster coming out. And there was one thing that was going to separate one band from the rest of the bands, and it was your online presence. That the websites were coming up. And again, this was my hobby. And with my hobby, I built the shit out of this site. Everything I could think of to do to make this site awesome, what I wanted to put into it. And I started teaching myself how to code. Finally, I quit Village Schiller Park, and I got my first big boy job in a company called the American Society of Safety Engineers. I had my own desk, I had my own computer, I had my own phone. We didn't have these yet. I had my own phone that came straight to me so people could call me. What this also meant was for that very first career path in life, I had to go around with an email address that was jmartin@ASSI.org. And when you tell people you do websites at a company called ASSI, you get that little crooked look. Huh? What is ASSI? And you have to tell them just know what you think it is. And it goes on. So working there, first big job, I feel like all I had to do to not go back picking up trash was just not mess this up. That's it. All I had to do was just hang on to this job and just not mess it up. And then I was sitting there one day, and all I needed to do was go on the site real quick and put our next show on there. It was that simple. Just jump in, code the next show, be on my way. And that's when the director of marketing was standing over my shoulder. So as I had the website up on screen, and I'm putting in the next show, she's like, what's this? I was like, oh, this is like a fire for jobs, isn't it? You're not supposed to do this on their time. She ended up telling me that they're actually launching a new web department at the company. They didn't know that I knew how to code, that I was just doing it on the side of my own time, and they ended up putting together a new project that was now building out websites for all of the regions they had across the US. So that one website turned into then, hey, why don't you build this? And it was my chance to start self-teaching code. So learn PHP, learn CSS, learn HTML. It turns out there's this thing called the internet. There's so much shit. There's so many things that you could learn anything online. It was amazing to build it all and do it that way. In the meantime, the band kept getting bigger. They had a chance to headline some big venues around Chicago. And I knew at this time that there was bound to be a big band coming out of Chicago, and it was absolutely going to be us. wasn't. It was bands we played with. The band on the left up here actually opened for us at one point in time, and now we're here and well, they're there. And at 24 years old, it was the first time that I really felt like I failed. And that everything I'd worked toward, the idea of getting that guitar, creating the band, that this was the dream, this was my path, this is what I was supposed to be doing, everything just kind of came crashing down. And I looked around and, all right, this happened, what do I have? What can I still do? And I still had this. I had the job, and I realized in that time that while I was chasing my dream, I also learned how to code during all of this. That I actually realized I could build websites. And one of our interns ended up going to the Art Institute. And so now my dream kind of changed. And what if instead of being a rock star, what if I could just make money building websites? Like, that'd be cool. I want to do that. Just design stuff and build it and have that be where I get money from. That sounds awesome. And so while I was in college, I started realizing that I could pay friends that much, but I could charge clients this much. And at the end of it, there's this, just hanging out, that I can just collect. And I was like, oh shit, this is business. This is how we get this started here. And so instead of being Joe Martin web designer, I didn't think that sounded good enough. I didn't think freelance was good. But I thought, I had a company name. Don't hire out Joe Martin, hire out telegraphics. Ooh, yeah, right? Hire the company. And so I decided to pull in a friend of mine from high school who did design. I did coding. My sister took care of accounting. I think this is almost every business gets going from the ground up, whether there's 2 co-founders or 6 co-founders. It's just the people you know that you say, hey, do you want to take a gamble on this and do this? And once I started doing that, once I realized that I could kind of collect money, the dream started to change again. And now the dream became to make money without work. I think we all share. We all have this dream. This is what we all want. So this isn't really realistic. So I made it a little more realistic and tweaked it just a little bit. I just didn't want to work a lot. I don't want to have to do 50, 60 hours a week just to be able to get by. When I started realizing I could be Joe Martin project manager and just run the company on the side. I think you're talking about how you have yours just on the side right now. That is exactly what I did. It was just living, it was being while I was still working and doing things. And so I wanted to work for a little company called Cars.com. I was a web designer for a little bit. Left there and then joined my first big startup, a company called Fieldglass. And what Fieldglass came with that I hadn't heard of before was this little thing called stock options. Meaning if they sold for $100 million, I would get money if they sold. How fantastic. And all I needed to do was not mess it up. Did that again. I'm getting fired. I actually still have this text message in my phone. It's the oldest text message from the day that I got fired. This is this little reminder. And I sat there and realized, shit, I just failed again. Like everything that I feel like I kept trying to work on just kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. And I started to develop this idea of, I woke up here. Like, I woke up this morning on this timeline. What can I do? What do I have? What's available to me? How do I make the most of it? And I still had my side hustle. I had my little company that was going on the side. And I was like, well, now's the chance. Now's the time to dive in. So I rebranded it, started to make it more of an interactive media agency, and started to pull more things in. And about 3 months after getting fired, those were icons at one point in time. It's a calendar. After 3 months after getting fired, something came back from the past. And 17-year-old Joe, who toured with another band, and this little buddy right here hit me up. And he's like, hey, I joined a new band. I'm going on tour. Do you want to join us? And so 3 months after getting fired, the dream that I gave up on actually came back around. And I got to play Warped Tour. I got to play South by Southwest. I got to open for Less Than Jake at Summerfest. The dream, I gave up on it. Like, I thought that once that dream was done, it was done. And I think it's that idea that the things we put out there, we never know when they're going to come back. We don't know how they come back to us. And every little thing we do is going to have those repercussions down the road. sometimes they're good ones. The band is still doing fantastic. They have the theme song for a show on Cartoon Network called Lego Ninjago. And then, let's see if we can get the volume up here. If you are a Cubs fan or a Sox fan, they had this spot for Cubs baseball a couple years ago on WGN. So this would play all summer with their song, and they're doing cool stuff. But I was here. I was doing this. I was back on building an agency and saying, all right, I'm gonna give this a go. And now I changed my dream again. Because now I was making money building websites, and I get greedy. Because then once I get that dream, I want the next dream. And I want to keep going and keep compounding on it. And so now the dream became, I want to work with $100,000 accounts. That'd be fucking cool. That'd be amazing to work with accounts that big and to hold them in and do that. So I brought in my first employee, and we started to build it. So at 32 years old, I'd grown my agency, and I had a team. I had a developer, a designer, a content writer, a project manager. I had the tools that I needed to start building whatever I needed to build. And the world was my playground at this point. This was it. I could do this now. One of the first things I did a little rebrand. Telegraphics, that was good when it was me. But now I wanted to mean something more. And one of the things in picking the name that I wanted, I kind of looked at it as like, what would I get tattooed on myself? And I realized I actually have a pretty good last name. So I just went with that. It's good. Some people, not as fortunate. Not as fortunate with last names. Doherty Creative?
Who's that stuff?
Maybe. Yeah, a little harder. So I got lucky, I feel. And so with this, we started to work with some other agencies and started to work on some bigger projects. So we had the chance to work on stuff for McDonald's, we had stuff for Anheuser-Busch, and stuff for Microsoft, as well as some smaller companies in Chicago, like a food tour and then a logistics company. And I did it. I got my dream of working with $100,000 accounts. But it seemed like if I was actually taking the time to put the dream out there, somehow I could get to it. I know visualization stuff, like it sounds kind of hokey, but all of a sudden you write it down, and then you can start to get to it. And then we don't know where it goes. Because I achieved that dream. Turns out I hated that dream. Hated it. I hated working with big accounts. There was so much stuff inside the RFPs. I was spending more time doing sales and managing my team than I was actually doing the stuff that I wanted to be doing. And that idea of an entrepreneur wearing so many different hats, that's what happened. I was doing everything except the stuff that actually motivated me, the things that I wanted to do. And this is the entrepreneur trap. This is what happens when we start a business. And that I also wrote a group in Chicago called the Entrepreneurs Workshop. And after 2.5 years of working with entrepreneurs, I finally narrowed down my advice for anyone looking to start a business to one word: don't. Don't. If you love business, if you love all this, create a business. If you love what you do, go team up with someone. Go get 6 co-founders so you can keep working on the things that you love the most and be able to kind of split that stuff out there. Because this is where entrepreneurs get stuck. And too many times I've heard about this happening where they end up just working in the business instead of working on the business. And we start to churn. You're just running in a wheel, just doing what you can do because you're not actually advancing. And we start to look at it and we're measuring this and saying, well, we're making more money. This is wonderful. Like, the company's growing, more money's coming in, but money's for shit. Like, you make more money, you're just going to spend more money on bullshit. You make less money, you learn how to budget. It's all perspective. It's all just how it goes. And as I sat at my desk one day, walked in, shut my door to my office, and realized I hated my job. That I had built a company and put myself in a position to a job that I hated. I would never take that job. It was an awful job. I worked too much. I did too many things. And I kind of sat there and realized I kind of failed again. Even chasing the dream, I still managed to fail. What? These just kept coming up. And then you guys remember this? You remember this little company, right? The one I got fired from. When I was fired, I lost my stock options. Right around the same time, they became the first privately held tech company in Chicago to sell for $1 billion. That was, yeah, let's just slap that right up there. So again, wake up. I woke up here. What do I have available to me? What can I do? What do I have in terms of resources? And I had this little weird food tour client, just one client that we've been working with for a few years now, and he'd been building his business. And this whole time, he actually started teaching other food tours how to start a food tour in their city. And and this seemed interesting. And all of a sudden I felt like there was opportunity somewhere that I didn't look for opportunity before. That even just looking back, one of the things was looking at our clients and looking at who I enjoyed working with. Who did I actually like working with? And I love this guy. He's fantastic. He's fun. And he works with food and travel and tourism, that all the things that sound amazing. So I had a new dream. And I wanted to do what I loved. I wanted to get out of all the stuff that I was doing. I wanted to get out of that job that I hated doing and start getting back into those things that actually motivate me and the stuff that drives me as a person. So I took market creative, took my team, and I sold them. So I sold half the staff, and I sold 10 years worth of clients. And they all went on to a new company, and kind of left me. It was a good effect. It was nice. I felt that in my soul as I just watched that a little bit. Whew. Went on a new marketing company, and they took over everything with the clients. And now at 35, I decided to launch a new business and kind of start from the ground up again, focused on just building websites for tours specifically. We focused in a niche, we found one small thing. I kind of felt at the time that it was the future of web design. That there's a lot of companies who build websites for a bunch of different people. And I wanted to find out what happens if we build one website for one specific type of person, and we just do it amazing. That we limit how much they can write. We tell them what to write. We run the data and analytics on the whole system and be able to update everything at once. And what I loved about this most was we started to give smaller tours a chance to succeed. The big tours had the $20,000, $50,000 websites, and the mom and pops had the really crappy GoDaddy builder one. But now instead of paying even $5K up front, they can just pay that $199 a month. And this is what started to shift things and go in this direction. And it was a fantastic plan, except for the problems. You see, I originally wanted to sell off all the clients back in October. It took a little longer than I thought, so it didn't happen until April. And so we launched a little too late. And when we did that with the tours, is we missed the off season. The summer is when the tours are the most busy. No one wants to change their website when they're ridiculously busy. And we'd only planned for a specific amount of runway, and now we were running out of money. And this just started creeping back in again. Why can't I do anything successful? Why can't anything actually work out? And so my dream changed again. I went from wanting to be a rock star to just surviving the next 6 months. This was all I really needed. And so I started looking at what I had, and we found a company in Canada who did ticketing for tours. And so we went to them. And we said, aren't you going to sell more tickets when all of your clients have beautifully designed, mobile responsive websites? And they said, yeah. And in our 6th month, they actually acquired us, and they bought the product. And so in October 2016, my little company of tour and event websites became something called Easy Sites. I did something. I finally did it. And as soon as I did it, of course I'm going to dream for the next thing. So now I want to dream to be able to travel, and I want to start to see more places. And the dream just keeps changing, keeps evolving. I think it's something a lot of us do as entrepreneurs. We keep going. We have that initial dream, we don't need to stick with it. We can move, we can change, we can be a little more fluid with everything. And this dream, I actually just kind of made it for myself. I think you're looking at the world's the only digital marketing consultant for food tours. No one else does this. No one else is this niche. I'm the only one who does it. And it was just from that idea of chasing this dream, of continuing to find out just what do I do, how does this keep evolving, how do I keep falling on my face, understand what I have. I've got a lot of dreams. You guys got just a few of them. There's a lot of them that I've written down, that I've put out there, all these things that I want to do. And now I'm looking at stuff that by August 5th, 2019, this year, I'll have successfully built and exited 2 companies. I have a book that's going to be up on Amazon in a couple weeks. I'm launching a Kickstarter for a card game I created. I'm playing a concert in Chicago next Friday because I'm still doing music. And then I'm giving my first TED Talk. And all these things will be done by that. And the main dream, the one thing that remains consistent through everything I'm trying to do is just this, which is the big mission behind Chicago Entrepreneur Social. And it's how do we make change? How do we change something in the world? And if I can leave it just a little better, that'd be nice. what drives me somewhat is actually fear. I got a lot of fear. And it's because at one point in time, someone showed me this, is what they described as the definition of hell. And it says that your last day on this planet, the person you became will meet the person you could have become. And that is terrifying to me, but I want to know that when I get there, that I'm the best version of this version. And I will keep dreaming, I will keep falling on my face. I have more dreams of things I want to do. If you catch me a year from now, I'll probably be able to tell you 12 new ways that I failed. In the meantime, I hope you guys go out there, fall on your face, fail, try, let's see what happens. And hopefully one thing here will help you avoid just one of those